Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are with Barbara Proud. How are you, Barbara?
I'm great, Matt. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, I've seen your work over the last few years, and you're a photographer, but also you've created this fantastic photography coffee table book as well. Yes.
Yes, indeed. I've become an artivist.
Well, tell us about all that.
Um, well, boy, it goes back a little ways now to
Yeah.
2009 when I started that project and made a complete switch in the type of work that I was doing. I have a commercial studio and would work for people who would pay me to make great pictures, but I would always have a personal project. And the kind of work I was doing was very different then. It was botanicals and very Georgia O'Keeffe-esque
Yeah.
floral things. And, things just happened that told me I needed to go a different way, and I needed to try to make a difference um, in the world and in our community, especially um, with my art, with my photography, the one thing that I knew how to do. So I set off then in 2009 after, and I can tell you if you want, but there's a series of domino effects that sort of pushed me to that point.
Yeah.
But I decided that I wanted to give a realer picture of our community. It was the fight for marriage equality was getting hot and heavy,
Yeah.
thanks to Edie Windsor. And I was really tired of people not really seeing who we were and seeing only the most flamboyant sides of us. And so I decided I would do these photographs, these portraits of couples that had already been together for at least a decade, and sometimes 5 decades,
Yeah.
and living as if we were married, just without those 1,138 federal rights that you get when you're heterosexual.
Yep.
Um, so I did these black and white portraits, stripped away all the rainbow everything. So asking people to actually look at the real people. I would also do a video interview. And from that video interview, I had footage for any kind of film, but also I had text. So I could write the story of each couple and take the viewer just another level deeper.
Yep.
And it's been really, really effective. I ended up, I knew that when I set out that my goal was to educate.
Yeah.
So I started off in 2012 was the first exhibition, and that exhibition traveled 16 different places around the country,
Wow.
um, in whole or in part. Sometimes solo shows, sometimes a few images were in a group show or a juried show.
Yeah.
Um, so that was happening, and the response from that was really great. But I also young people who in remote areas that just didn't have any access to LGBTQ anything,
Yeah.
thanking me and telling me they gave them hope. So that was really, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. So, but I knew that I had always wanted to do a book
Yeah.
as well, because I wanted to be more accessible. So if the exhibition wasn't coming to your city, how do I get the stories and photographs to those people?
Yeah.
So, so I decided, I needed to get a book, and I approached the mainstream publishers. They all said no, no,
Yeah.
thank you. Um, we're not going to make any money. We did a book like that. It just,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just hit the wall. So I decided to do it myself, and knew I had really talented friends that could help me with it,
Yeah.
and that I would make something that was pretty good. I would probably make mistakes, but it would be okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so my good friend June Fenneman, she designed the book, and I have another friend, Sean Dyroff, who helped me with all of the digital technical stuff and the sequencing. And we got a printer, and they sent us proofs, and
Yeah.
it went off to China to be printed, and months later came back, and then I had a book. And I was very ambitious. I printed 3,000 copies.
Yeah.
So 2,500 about have gone out. So I think that's a win.
Yep.
Um, but as soon as it's also won some awards. It won 2 gold medals for independent
Yeah.
publishing.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic.
um, yeah, I have a lot of stories about the success of the book, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, as soon as I published it, everybody wanted to know, when are you going to do volume 2? We want to be in volume 2. Can we be in the next one?
Yeah.
So, but being publishing yourself means you wear all the hats. So not
Yeah.
only do you spend a whole lot of money, but you have to be the publicist and the bookkeeper and the shipper and everything. So you're
Yep.
very, very busy.
Yeah.
And there was no way I would thought about doing a volume two.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed doing it, I was still in the thick of things. So,
Yeah.
um, but then we had that election in 2016, and
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
community was under fire immediately. So I knew there was more work to do, but I did not want to just do more of what I had done. It was
Yeah.
very clear to me that it was the transgender and gender nonconforming community that really needed love and acceptance from within our own community,
Yeah. Yeah.
as well as the rest of the world. And it's clear, like the amount of violence against the trans community has just grown exponentially since
Yeah. Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
So I've been for the last 2.5 years traveling the country and photographing along the same theme of being in a relationship, being in love, and what that
Mhm.
means in our community. But this time I'm photographing transgender, gender nonconforming
Yeah.
couples and families. So to tell those stories. So the same way, I'm doing a portrait, I'm doing an interview, I'm writing the story, and maybe there'll be a book. We'll see.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because I saw the from your website. I saw some of the screenshots of Transcending Love, and it looked like it was going to be an amazing production.
I think so. I mean, there has been one exhibition already
Okay.
at the Stonewall National Museum in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
It was there for 3 months, and this response was really super great.
Yeah.
And even the Miami Dolphins took a busload of players, staff, and families to the museum, not
Wow.
specifically to see that show, but
Yeah. Yeah.
my show happened to be up at that time, which meant that people who would never, ever have gone to see it were looking at these photographs and reading the stories. And that's the really cool thing, is that, in a lot of exhibitions, people will walk around and sort of glimpse at the photographs and stuff. These
Yeah.
people read the stories. They really look at the things. And so, I've watched people laugh, cry, the whole gamut of emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like it's touching people.
It's going to make a really nice, especially when you're promoting it, when you're ready for that launch, posting those on social media, especially like through Twitter and so forth, will probably actually work quite well for you, because it's all about that. You've got great imagery, and then you have that short form story that people can relate and identify to with. So I think you'll do quite well with those.
Let's hope.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what we're going to do is make sure that when we post this video on YouTube and so forth, we're going to make sure all the links. I did a little research to make sure we had them, but we'll have all the links to your books and your social media and so forth, so that making sure that everybody can find you and kind of start following you and just thoroughly enjoy setting up those relationships as things all move forward.
Great. Don't forget Fractured Atlas, because they are our fiscal sponsor, which means that we are basically a 501c3
Yeah, yeah.
under them. So we can
Okay.
take sponsorships and tax deductible donations at any time.
Good to know.
The
Well,
link
make,
is on the website, and that helps because
yeah,
I'm traveling the country. I've been to 24 states just for this project,
yeah.
and I have several more to go. I'm on pause now because of the pandemic, but my next states were Utah and Georgia, Louisiana. So I'm trying to hit the states where people would not think, oh, there are transgender people there. They think, oh, they're only in New York and San Francisco. But I want to show people are living their lives, and people don't even know sometimes that they've met a transgender person.
I know, I know. That's the irony
So
of it all with this whole bathroom. It started in North Carolina with these bathroom bills, and it's like, they put it on the radar and people's heads, but they were unaware of the fact that, yeah, transgender people have been living amongst them all this time unbeknownst to them.
absolutely, and
It's
the mantra sort of is that it's and Jenny Boylan, the author Jenny Boylan, her mother said, "It's hard to hate someone whose story you know,"
yeah,
and it's true.
yeah,
and I've heard this time and time again in places that I've visited and people that I've talked to and gotten to know that have told me stories about how people got to know them and ended up standing up for them and protecting them.
Yeah. Every little step, and that's how it gets better.
Yes.
It does. So, no, this is great. I really appreciate you taking out the time to share your story with us all, and I look forward to being able to connect with you in the real world when things start to open up again.
Yeah, that would be great.
But in the meantime, no, thanks again, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye bye now.
All right. Bye.